What's good, DMV? I'm your host, Realistate, and this is the JS Real Estate Show, where you'll find hip hop, go-go, R&B, and more. Let's get it.
Jones. Yep, Knack.
Welcome to the JS Real Estate Show. Today we have a special guest that goes by the name Swayze Jones. She's a Maryland native, and she's killing it on the hip hop scene. Swayze, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. I've been following you for almost 4 years. We've been in contact off and on. And to the DMV, just to let you know, this is the first time me and Swayze met.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. You gave me a big hug when you saw me.
I had to. That's like my little lost sister. I ain't know where. I just finally found you.
Man, it's all
So,
love.
I mean, in my mind, it's like I've watched a lot of artists in the DMV. Virginia, Maryland, DC, even abroad, Chicago, Cali. I'm in contact with them all. But when I see you, it's like, man, this girl is really doing what she do. I'm talking about you jumping from one state to another, you popping videos out left and right, you chopping it up with artists. I seen you picture with Kendrick Lamar. I seen you with Lil Young Dirt.
Yeah.
I seen you with a lot of sponsors, including DMV Heat and a whole bunch of other people. Tell me, this is where I want to start. I want to start, where did it all begin for you? Because, see, a lot of artists, they talk about in the middle when their success is starting to build. But I would need to know, and I think the people want to know from a standpoint, from the underground standpoint, because you're coming from a part where the people don't see. We see the magazines, we see a lot. Tell me from the beginning, how did it start for you?
From the beginning.
Yeah.
Age of 9. The age of 9. Actually, you know, shout out to my brother, by the way, because he's really the one that created this monster. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that created this monster. So, you know, salute to him.
Salute.
But, you know, he used to just go around the house rapping all the time.
Right.
And back then I didn't know it was rap. You know what I'm saying? I just heard him saying stuff and it rhymed and he'd be dancing, so I knew there was some rhythm. You know, he'd open the fridge, get some milk, and and I'd be like, what is he doing? You know, like and stuff like that. So one day I just asked him. I was like, what is that? He was like, look, come upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Sat me in front of the boom box and was like, this is Nas. Now hold on. This is Common. Now hold on, this is Talib Kweli. You know what I'm saying? He put me on the cats like that, and I was like, oh, he's like, you know, basically explained to me that this is hip hop and this is rap. And since I admired him so much and saw that he loved it, you know, I was already in love with music. You know what I mean? Shit, my mother would tell you, since I came out the womb, you know, I was one of those babies, you sat them up, they just start rocking. That was me, you know? So I was already in love with music, but he introduced me to rhyme, rhythm, the art and the science of being an MC, you know what I'm saying? So that's really where it started. And then from there, it just went into high school, performing at the talent shows, you know what I'm saying, getting known by my peers. And then took it to North Carolina, because I went to North Carolina A&T, so I took it to school down there and just started with the open mics. Getting the recognition from there, from the open mics, got me the bookings for other shows. And that's just kind of how it picked up. Just stayed doing the footwork, stayed on my A game, stayed, you know, making my presence known and making people remember me every time I left that stage. Because then they would go tell somebody else about me. They would look me up, and then somewhere I get a phone call like, hey, can we book you for this? Sure. Y'all paying? Okay.
I know that's right. And a lot of artists, I've noticed, they do get to that point, they start getting paid. I was with a entertainment squad, and I remember when the guy, he was doing it for free. And then all of a sudden, he got with a known major artist label. He opened for them, and then next thing you know, boom, he started making money from it. Now, my thing is, because see, I know artists out there, they got little businesses and they got things going on in their life other than the art of hip hop and music. Well, with you, you're different, because you actually go to school too, and you do this work. And I seen you put your work on Facebook and Twitter, and you get your A's and your 90% and you know, your everything. So tell me, how does that work for you? Like when you go to school and you're an artist, how does that work? How do you manage that time?
Man, time management has been a learning process for me, you know, because when you're really passionate about something, you know, you put your all into it. You know what I mean? And so the balance from school, I love to learn, but I really don't like school, you know, because I don't like to sit in a classroom. I I don't like to really be taught. I'm more of a hands-on, learn through experience type of learner.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, I have two passions.
Okay.
You know, my passion is music and my passion is business. I have a passion for both. Now, I can't say they're equal. Music is probably up here, business might be like right here. But they're still passions of mine. So I study business, you know, and since it's something that I want to do, you make time for what you want to make time for, pretty much, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So I just kind of got to discipline myself, you know, and sometimes I'll save studio sessions for the weekend and dedicate my time to schoolwork during the week.
Right.
I've dedicated Tuesdays to take a day off so I don't burn out, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, because, I mean, it gets crazy. I can remember one time we had a show in North Carolina, had to be to ATL in the morning for a studio session.
Right.
So I'm on the stage, I get, right after I finish my verse, I'm just like, here, I hand Young Dirt the mic, I go out to the car, open up my laptop, turn my Wi-Fi on, I'm typing the paper. I didn't finish it till we got to Atlanta at 3 in the morning. But sometimes you have to do that. Then I recorded my verse in the studio, came out the studio, and did my participation for class. You know what I'm saying? Because you just got to take advantage of those free time and just kind of fit it in where you can and make it work, you know what I mean?
I mean, and that's, you know, to me, that's the basis, the source of it all. You have to sacrifice a lot of time, but you got to know when to utilize your time at the same time. And that, I salute you, and that's real talk.
I appreciate that.
And so I know you had some music that when you your first album, putting it together, I don't want to talk about what you got now or before now, but the very first one, because I know you were with, I don't want to mention the name, but you were with a record label. And I need you to explain to me what happened with, because when I met you, you was with a record label, because actually they had got in contact with me. And what, you know, we don't want to put the name out there, but what happened with that record label that made you transition into what you're doing now?
Well, man, it just kind of, you know, in my opinion, God puts people in your life sometimes for a season.
That's right.
So I honestly believe my run with that label was for a season. It was for me to learn. I learned so much from that label. You know, just even getting behind the camera, you know, taking my videos and my pictures. I learned that from the CEO of that label. And just learning how to sacrifice some more, you know, things like that. When I got with that label, learning how to keep things professional. Before I got with the label, I didn't know about performance contracts. I didn't know about upfront cash, like, you know, how to work out those deals. But it just got to a point where I think that I kind of felt like it wasn't in line. You know, we weren't aligned. And, you know, just like in business, if you want things to work together, teams to work together and stuff like that, there's got to be some alignment in there. Common interests, common goals, just things like that, man. So it just, we just separated on that sense. You know, they were more of an underground label, and I started to break into that mainstream type sound, and that it just, we butt heads and it happened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when I could tell the difference from how you were. I knew who you were through the label at that time, but I wasn't really seeing stuff, but I knew who you were, and I see little stuff, and I say, okay, all right, little shorty doing her thing, but she need to put more out there, right? But then all of a sudden, one day, boom, I just start seeing stuff left and right. So I was like, okay, well, because I was about to personally talk to the label. But for some reason, I got in contact with you some kind of way. Because at first, I don't think I could get in contact with you. It was hard. And then next thing you know, I got in contact with you easier. And we start chopping it up, you know, transition, sending things to each other. Now, when you made that transition to, I don't want to say independent. Are you independent? Okay, so the independence. What avenues came to you, like, that didn't come with the label, but what all of a sudden start coming your way to where as though you start branching out like that? Because it was like a boom.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, when I was with the label, I recorded my first single and I was working on my album. And, you know, part of the reason, you know, I left and everything is because I wasn't getting the support and making the moves quick enough that I felt like I needed to be making from the label. So once I broke free, I'm gonna tell you the most honest story. You know, we had a discussion. You know, nothing changed. So I just up and made the decision to leave. You know, luckily under this label, their mistake, they never had me sign a contract. So I just walked away. You know what I'm saying? And so in that sense, that day that I made that decision, I came home, looked on YouTube, opened up Photoshop, made my own logo. And it's just it's amazing how God works, because I think that, you know, he'll close a door in order to let another one open. Because
that's true.
I was saying that I needed a website. And somebody reached out to me on Facebook by the name of Torrance Reed. Shout out to him and his business, Gratuity, by the way. But he just hit me up and was like, hey, you need a website? I got you. Yeah. And things just started falling into place. It was almost like when I was with the label, it was holding me back. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of took charge and just started making moves on my own, because I feel like when I was with them, I had to get my moves approved. Okay. You know what I'm saying? There was so much I wanted to do, so many ideas I had. You know, I'm a business person, so I make moves strategically, and they just wasn't in my blueprint. It just didn't follow, you know what I'm saying? So that's really what it was. I just got motivated, and just things happened by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of God, things just started pouring in. Once I had the website, then, you know, I could push the video out, push the website. Things were so professional that, you know, you couldn't knock it. Okay. Yeah.
Now, I mean, and it's done wonders for you. Yeah. I mean, comparing, because when I looked at a couple of your videos, I was like, I want a video too. You know what I'm saying? So it was in my mind, I was like, that's how good it is. Yeah. It's that professional. And I know people that spend $500 to $1 million for quality videos like that. But then, you know, you came across them guys. You got
the HD boys.
Yeah, truth. You hear me? And it's a lot of people out there they just not heard of, and they some of them don't care if you hear about them or not. Right. But their work speak for itself, and they really did a good job with your music and your talent, and their expertise in the visuals together. You guys are really making a lot of noise.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Nah, it's true, because I can look. Some videos you can look at one time, and then some you can constantly keep looking at it, and that's the ones I look for. You know, no disrespect to people that's trying to learn the video game, but that's the ones I try to look for. Right. But okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with our guest, Swayze Jones, only on the JS Real Estate Show. Let's get it. We gon' do this my way. We gon' do it my way. We gon' do it my way. To the home, come with it. We swerving out on that highway. This is the JS Real Estate Show, and we're back with our girl, Swayze Jones. And as we was talking about the quality of the video, because I mean, I like the quality of the video. I like the quality of the sound. Them girls out there, it's a lot of rappers that, and it's a lot of good ones. And I'm gonna tell you something. You're one of them.
I appreciate it.
And don't for a second doubt yourself, because if you need some type of reassurance, I'll give it to you. You're in that class, and you don't stop for nothing. And tell your team they're doing a great job. Now, what I would like to know is, what are your plans? The gift that you have, the gift to make words and reach the people, the gift to put them together and make people reflect back on something they're doing. Because you did a song about your grandmother. Yeah. And I'm telling you, you know, as a person that lost his grandmother, that is a beautiful song.
I appreciate it.
I even took that song to Howard University. Yeah. Yeah, with Tyreek, my field host, my teen field host. And we used that song in the background, because I remember calling, I said, I gotta use that song because I love that song. Tell me, what inspired you about that song?
Man, I felt like I had to. One thing I do regret, you know, because there is some profanity in my music and stuff like that. And for a long time, you know, I released a mixtape, and then I faded to black behind the scenes, trying to figure out who I was and, you know, all that before I came out with something else, you know, something new. So I was just trying to perfect everything and make sure everything was on point. So one thing I regretted was that I really never let my grandmother hear most of my music. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was only right. You know, she meant so much to me that I was like, we were in the studio, and music has always been an outlet for me, a way for me to express myself. I just looked at Blase, you know, shout out to Blase. I looked at him and was like, look, just start with some chords and play something. I got something on my mind. Okay. And I was just in the back, and I just started crying while I was writing it. And it just came out, you know.
It's a beautiful song.
I appreciate it.
And anybody that if you haven't heard of Swayze Jones, then you need to Google her because she got some beautiful tracks on there. She got some club bangers. She got some underground mixes. She got it all on there. And I'm telling you about that Claretta song, Cordelia. Sorry, Cordelia song is a beautiful song. And I listen to it because of my own experience with my grandmother. So that's one of my songs.
I appreciate that.
And that's no problem. And we got some music coming up with you soon. How can, you know, how can a person, what should we expect of you 4 or 5 years from now? What are we looking at here?
Man, whatever God has planned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but really,
yeah, some idea.
You know, like I was torn for a while as whether, you know, I wanted the fame that came with the dream, you know, that I'm chasing. And I tell, you know, my team all the time, like, I'm not gonna be on the front line forever. If I make it on the front line, that's great. I'll ride the wave, but I don't want to be on the front line forever. You know, I will gladly step back. You know, because I love business too. I will gladly step back behind the scenes once my front line run is done. You know, and work behind the scenes, whether that's ghostwriting for artists. You know what I'm saying? Either way, I just love to make music. You know what I'm saying? And if it could pay my bills, that's great.
It's great. You know I mean, with going to school and with the art itself, it's going to flourish. It's going to bloom. And I promise you that. I've seen it. I know artists. It's a lot of good artists in the DMV, and you're one of them coming out of it. You stationed in North Carolina, okay? And that's a great place to be because a lot of people from D.C., Maryland, Virginia are originally from North Carolina, South somewhere. And, you know, so you got a great opportunity ahead of you. You're able to cross from the South to this part of the South to the East, you know. So you keep going, and I just want to know, like, we do charity work twice a year. Could we count on you and your team to be a part of that?
Of course.
Because I believe that, you know, we give, the more you give, the more you receive. It's just the way it goes, you know. And I'll give you all the information when we leave here. But other than that, I'm thinking, you know, we would like to hear a song from you.
Of course.
I think the people should understand that hip hop does have negativity, and then it has its positive. And my goal is to bring the positive side of hip hop to the light. Through television, radio, social media, you know, and that's what I want to do. And if you guys will help me, then we can do it together as a team, not just you, but everybody that's with what we're doing today. I think you're gonna be a shining star. I see it coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad that you're here on my show.
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And, you know, you got to let people know that don't stand for a lot of stuff, you know, because it's going to be hard for artists, but it's definitely hard for a female artist. You have to go ahead, stand up, and fight for what you believe in. And I don't mean in a physical way. I mean, get your pen and your paper, your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding, and push forward no matter what. It's not how far you can push, but it's how far you can pull. You know, that separates the leaders from the followers.
I can agree with that.
You understand?
I can agree with that.
And if you pull hard enough, after a while, somebody's just going to be carrying you. You wouldn't even know it.
I can't say it on the show, but I have identified a wide open lane for Swayze Jones right now.
I see it.
You know, so there's going to be some crazy things in the works in the future, you know, so 5 years from now, to answer your question, because I don't even think I answered it, I will be a business music mogul, you know what I'm saying,
and I believe
taking
that,
over,
I believe that,
you know,
and that's the thing, like, the greatest gift I think we have is the cloak, the cloak and dagger. A lot of people, we want everybody to see what we're doing, but it's not meant for everybody to see it. And it's best you keep it to yourself, you know, sometimes, until it's time to, you know, let everything out, you know, cloak it, keep it moving, because when they realize it's there, it's going to be beautiful, trust me, you know.
I can feel that.
You're a great artist, Swayze, and I'm glad you're on my show. We're going to wrap this up because Swayze needs to she's going to do a song for us, and we're going to prepare for that. So without further ado, we're going to wrap this thing up, and we're going to hit this song for us.
All day,
All day.
dope. And bad on the pole, try and get some more. Yeah, that's fat. She twerking, you throw most that. Yeah, she working, she don't play no games. All that flirting, if you ain't showing no money, you don't serve no flirt. But I'm just saying, she got fans and bands, make her dance. Drive a 745, flown in custom from Japan. License plate say boss, no, she don't need no man. Could cost about 10 grand. Still buy cash out. Miss Independent, Miss make you pull your cash out. She turn around, you pass out. She got all that ass, she a hood, so she down to pull that strap out when he's bad on the proud. Yeah, she work that. Got you spending down, throwing shots back. She be getting through. Rich in the club, blowing dope, and they tell her, shake that, turn around, drop, shake that, turn around, drop, shake that, turn around, drop, shake that, turn around, drop.
Okay, red bottoms on a red bone, red bottoms on a red bone. To get her hair didn't, get her nails didn't, put her face down. I get my blown. I'm in a strip club with 500 ones. Brown bottle with a brown model, like double mid twins with a Pepsi bottle. Cause her waist slim, but that water. Real no competition, who talkin' slicker? Say it straight to her face, I got no remorse and it's not the liquor. Tryin' for that free? I ain't down for that fee. Had to pay to get in this, so it's you and pay me. Hold up, these on my chin now. Guess I'm going here now. My on her planet. Guess that's what's for dinner. I'm that for shit now. Y'all should know. I be so turning up. Turn me down a little. Swayze Jones, we got one. This for all of them stripper. To pay light bill and pay water bill and that phone bill with that stripper phone. Yeah. Hand for band for that private dance. Whole rag for that full service. Ain't mad at